Hello, and welcome to Through the Monocle, where today we will be discussing Spider Man into the Spider-Verse in preparation for Spider Man Across the Spider-Verse coming out later this month. Hi, as always, I'm your host, Grant Ingram, and joining me today to talk about this wonderful Spider Man movie, it is my good friend, the Spider Ham to my Spider Man. It is Grant Skillen. How you doing, Grant?
I feel like I'm more the spider pig, but I'm doing good.
That's what I just called you.
Yeah, whatever.
Spider Ham? Nah, whatever. Um, so we were going to do Disney movies. That was the plan. But Taylor, our overlord, had the wonderful idea of doing blockbuster movies, and I think that is better for June because, well, you've got great movies coming out, you know, this month. You got The Flash, you got Across the Spider Verse. There's another movie somewhere, maybe. Um, but we're talking Into the Spider Verse today, and Grant, I want you to kick it off. What were your thoughts on Into the Spider Verse?
Movie good.
Lot to play off there.
No,
I
it's
I
it's a good movie. This was actually my first time to watch it. Um,
really
yeah, I had actually never seen it. I don't know why. I had just never gotten around to it. Um, Never saw it in theaters, and then
wow. I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it on Netflix way back in the day. I'm not gonna lie, this was a last minute change, and I did not watch it today because I got off work half an hour ago. So, um, but
you should have stayed up till 3 in the morning last night to watch it.
yeah, I should have. So it stars Shamik Moore as Miles Morales. It stars Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker. It stars Chris Pine as Peter Parker. Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy. Mahershala Ali, I really hope I pronounced that right, as Aaron Davis. Brian
I think
Tyree
so.
Henry as Jefferson Davis, who is Miles's father. Um, Lily Tomlin is May Parker. Luna Lauren Velez as Rio Morales. Zoe Kravitz as MJ. John Mulaney as Peter Porker or Spider Ham. Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker. Nicolas Cage as the Birds. No, as Peter Parker or Spider Man Noir. Catherine Hahn as Dr. Olivia Octavius. And Liev
It was
Schreiber
Agatha all along.
as Wilson Fisk. This is a movie that is animated very well, like
Yes.
incredibly well. Um, they actually used a lot of really cool animation techniques to get the aspect that they did. For example, when they wanted to make Miles seem awkward, they animated him at half the frame rate.
Hmm.
And then as he got his powers and became more familiar, he smoothened up, and that's like it's just a really fantastic thought. That's why he looks so janky in the when he first got his powers. It'd be lovely to have a clip, but again, I got home half an hour ago. Um, but they animated him at half frame, and then they stopped doing that, and it really timed out well with the way we see Miles kind of come into his own because this is an origin story because Miles is a Spider-Man that until this movie nobody really knew much about. Another fun fact: Spider-Man. Miles was based off of Donald Glover's appearance in Community season 2 episode 1 where he wore a Spider-Man t-shirt as pajamas as he got out of bed. That inspired Brian Michael Bendis to create Miles Morales for the Ultimate Universe, which sucked, but Miles was pretty cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
all those fun facts aside, those were off the top of my head, by the way. No Wikipedia in the day. All those fun facts aside, Grant, what like specifically, what did you like about this movie?
I really like just like you said, the animation was cool. The story was really cool and how it developed. You could see like I like how it cuts in like every time they introduce a new Spider-Man. There we go. They go into the same backstory basically every time. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the only one. No, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really good, and just the whole like story was, I think, really well developed. You've got these different Spider-Men and women and animal, and they've all got to get back to their own universe. And so, how do you do it? How do they work together? Who all do they fight? I think is really cool. It's really funny to see an animated Kingpin. He
Yeah.
looks so silly.
So this movie is a comic book. Like
Yeah.
Kingpin looks like he does in the comics. I'll pull up a picture and upload it to show you. But this movie's a comic book. That's why all of the animation looks like it's fresh off the page. That's why all of the characters are so. I mean, it's just a moving book, comic book, and I think that's a really cool way to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. Personally,
But so some of the fun facts you were mentioning, there's some other like there's some continuity errors in the movie that I honestly didn't notice. Um, but were actually like legitimate continuity issues. Um,
such as
so let's see. This is using IMDb. This is not any sort of my knowledge. About an hour 20 in, when Miles' dad is talking to him, he references how he can see his shadow moving. But then when he checks the shadow a second time, the shadow is the exact same size, despite Miles moving to be up against the door. Um, then you can see his shadow is not being cast under the door when the camera cuts to show both sides of the door.
okay, that's not as much of a continuity error as like an animation thing.
Yeah, let's see. Here's one. In the fight between the Spider-Man and the villain to Aunt May's house, Aunt May knocks Tombstone outside with a bat. Seconds later, he can be seen briefly in the background fighting in the house again.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of yeah, that's flagrant. All right, so I've got a few Kingpin images to upload and show you. Let me pull that up. First off, we're pulling up a few. I do want to say that all of the characters here are like incredibly well acted. Like,
Yeah,
I really like Liv Octavius. I believe is the name they went with for him or her.
it was
So
Agatha.
yeah,
Agatha all along.
so instead of it being Otto, which is the normal, they kind of circumvent expectations, and I personally thought that was really solid.
Hmm.
I know it was one of those things that some people loved, some people hated, and some people thought was just fine. But I thought it worked out really well. Um, let me get this thing going.
Yeah,
I
I
got
like the like variety. Like it's not normal. Like you have the female Spider-Man, you have the pig Spider-Man, you've got the one from back in the 30s in black and white. You've got just a variety of, and like you said, Doc Ock being Liv and not the normal guy. And I'm sure there are others I just don't recognize because I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. But
you,
yeah.
you heathen.
What's up, Hunter?
Hey, how you doing? All right, so I've got one of them that is going to easily upload, and we'll just do that for right now. This is Kingpin in this movie.
Wait, what is that from?
That is from Daredevil. That's Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin in Daredevil, edited to look like Kingpin in this movie.
Okay, I was thinking that was like
No,
legitimately looked like in
no,
the
no,
movie. Grant could
no.
see it. I was sitting there like,
Yeah, nobody was gonna do that. So let me save this image with the correct um file format because for some reason my computer likes to save JPEGs as GIFs, which StreamYard doesn't like. So this is what he looked like in the movie itself. That is absolutely horrid image quality. But
that
that
is the
versus
production
that,
quality here is unmatched.
That is absolutely horrid. But you get the idea. He's a big old dude, whose head is in the middle of his neck, which is kind of weird. It
Yeah.
evokes images
He
of that Thomas the Train crawling out of his body kind of feeling.
he looks like the thing magicians do where they like drop their head down. That's just what he looks like, and it's really strange, but also really cool at the
Yeah,
same time.
it is comic book. Like I'm gonna pull another crappy resolution image, I'm sure. But if I save the comic book version, we're gonna get first off, that's not what I want, but it's a much different thing. Let's see, can I just paste it over here? Okay. I'll keep looking and show you. This was very well planned, as you can see.
Yes.
Um,
The highest production quality here.
well, you're not
Um,
here because we're high production quality. If you cared about high production quality, you'd watch Joe Rogan. But Joe Rogan isn't talking about the things you like. If you are here for high production quality, leave a comment and I will fire myself. This is Kingpin in the comics.
mhm.
This is a visual representation of Kingpin in the movie. This is actual Kingpin in the movie in 180.
Why is this so funny?
I do not know. Yeah, actual Kingpin in 180p. It's really really weird.
That's a lot of damage.
Boy.
Thank you. Apologies to your ears. Um,
Yeah.
so this
Um,
movie has some absolutely wonderful performances from everyone's favorite druggie, John Mulaney.
mhm.
Um, and then Shamik Moore, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I really hope it is. He is really good as Miles.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I would argue that this movie being about Miles is what makes this movie so good.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it retreads that same origin story, what is it, 6 times? And it,
I mean, it's different. Like a lot of Spider-Man is the same, and that's not bad. Spider-Man is good, but we've seen it what 3 different series at least in the past like 20 years ish.
yeah, and they're all kind of the same except for Holland's version because Holland chose
Mhm.
not to retell the retelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, spoiler alert for the next like 30 seconds. So if you don't want rumors about the new one, cover your ears. 3, 2, 1. Supposedly, we're going to see Holland and Garfield and Maguire soon.
Nice.
Yeah, at least, you know.
I specifically requested it.
And my friends at Sony say, we'll do it.
You see, we had 3 Spider-Man in No Way Home. And if you think that's a lot, you should watch this movie. And then you should watch the new one when it comes out.
Have you seen the interview that I think it was the director did about the new one?
I have not.
280.
Spider-Man?
Yeah. Of those, 95 are actual named characters.
That might be a little too much.
Ah, buddy, it looks really.
We're gonna
darn
have we're gonna have an Avengers Endgame scene where everyone's coming out of the portal. It's gonna be 3 million Spider-Men.
and all at
Just
once they say, "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark."
yeah.
And yeah, I, I
Yeah.
I don't know. So the next one's a two-parter. It's across the Spider-Verse, and I want to say Enter the Spider-Verse is the other one, or something like that. There is a sequel and a sequel that were at one point going to be released the same year, but the second part comes out next year. These were written by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, Avia Rad, Amy Pascal, I'm sorry, produced by those, written by Phil Lord and Rodney Rothman, which, congratulations, Rodney, that's one heck of a name. And honestly, I like Lord and Miller's work, especially like Cowboys and Aliens. I say Cowboys and Aliens. No, Solo, especially Solo. Solo was a fantastic piece that they did that wasn't the same. But these movies, or this movie at the very least, is just pure comic book genius.
It is, yeah.
Grant, you mentioned you were looking at fun facts. Give me some more fun facts.
Let me go back to the fun facts because I had went to quotes.
You heathen.
I've been caught. I've been caught lacking. Let me go back.
He's been caught lacking. All the homeboys
Yes,
say he's
there are some factual errors. Right away at the beginning, a minute in, Mary Jane is shown kissing Spider-Man while hanging upside down on a ladder, but her hair didn't like plop down as if she was upside down. It just stayed normal on her head.
Interesting.
So she's Spider-Man using I don't know.
Somehow.
Yeah. When Prowler gets shot in the back by Kingpin, he doesn't like fall forward. He gets shot in the back and falls backwards.
Like JFK. We lost 2 people on my JFK joke. I'm sorry.
This is I was reading this one to make sure I understood it. This one's a bit more of a potential, but they're saying when he shoots Prowler or after he's shot in the back, Kingpin cocks the hammer on the pistol to be able to fire it again. But the weapon he appears to be using is a simplified version of the Colt 1911, which the hammer is automatically cocked as the receiver cycles. So he would not have had to actually recock the pistol on its own. Like on his own.
But that doesn't look as cool, does it, Grant?
I'm just reading the facts, okay?
Just the facts?
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Are they fun facts?
Gun facts.
Ooh.
Let's see what else.
We have entered gun facts with Grant.
Yes. Let's see plot holes. Is there any sort of plot holes actually here?
I do not know.
I just remembered one. So about an hour and a half in, at the Collider fight, Doc Ock wraps up Spider-Man with 2 of her arms and then uses one to hang from the ceiling and another to attempt to kill him. Then in the wide shot, when Miles uses her arm to punch her, there's 2 arms on the ceiling and one wrapping him up. Then when Miles reveals himself, it reverts back to 2 arms wrapped around Peter.
So what I'm picking up is a little bit of the Rey Skywalker Red Room scene, where
Yes,
suddenly the
we forgot to mention that in our. We forgot to mention that in our review.
We did. It's still technically May. So fun fact for those of you who don't know, in the Red Room scene in The Last Jedi, when Rey's being held by one of the Imperial guards with a knife at her neck, they've digitally removed the sword in his other hand because otherwise, like, why the heck did he not just stab her in the gut? Yeah, yep. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. When each of the spider peeps, as I'm going to call them, are transported to, when they're each transported to Miles' Earth, each one arrives in a different colored beam of light, and they're scattered in different locations, which is shown clearly on screen. So it's not possible for them to land in the same spot, right?
No.
Well, about that, and when each are recounting their arrival to the universe, each one is shown arriving in a blue beam, and they all landed in Times Square.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
yeah, that one's just like, oh, they switched the like pencil from like in between these 2 fingers, in between these 2 fingers.
So if you hit pause anytime a train goes by, because all the animators wanted to animate Stan Lee, he's in almost every single train.
Is he in the one where the wife and the kids are watching Kingpin about to beat up Spider-Man again?
I do not know. I will say this is Stan Lee's final voice acting role. Yeah. They considered this role extra meaningful for him. Or yeah. Also, fun fact, there is a longer version. If you really like this, there's a 26-minute longer version on the Blu-ray. Which is cool.
That's very interesting. What shows I found a thing on here shows alternate scenarios for certain scenes. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's also like extra scenes, unfinished stuff, that kind of thing. So it's not like a perfect cut of it, but it's pretty darn close.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's time for some quotes because I want to get the quotes. Spider Ham. That's all, folks. Is he allowed to say that legally?
I think so.
I would assume so.
I mean, technically, he's just a pig, and like, if you can copyright "That's all, folks," then like, what can't you copyright?
I just realized, wait, is Jefferson Davis Miles' dad?
Yes.
I didn't realize. Sorry.
Yep.
My mind went to the Confederate president. That's all
I was
the
like,
name.
what the heck is Jefferson Davis doing in this movie? I had the
Yeah.
same thought. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
he
Wild
says with
Grant, we
great
just lost 3 viewers on that. Dang.
yeah. Shout out to my history nerds. With great ability comes great accountability. That's not how it goes.
Not at all.
Let's see. There was another one. Oh, so some people were talking about how there might have been like an incontinuity with like the suits that Peter has in that universe and how it fits Miles perfectly.
Even though Miles is like a foot shorter.
Yes, but it's actually just a callback to the line earlier from Stan, where he says, "Can I return if it doesn't fit? It always fits, eventually."
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it was just entirely meant to be a callback to that.
Huh. I didn't realize that. That's really cool. I like how they use Stan in this movie. Kevin Smith said after he put Stan in Mallrats, he always wanted to have another role in a movie because he was in all the Marvel movies, but like he was in Mallrats, like he was a character in Mallrats. He always wanted that again. I'm glad they kind of did that here. I hate that this was his last role.
Yeah, I think my favorite quote was the Doc Ock quote. Can I assume your friends call you Doc Ock? My friends actually call me Liv. My enemies call me Doc Ock.
I like that. I remember laughing, like actually chuckling at that.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn was really good in this movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's locked away at Marvel and can't do anything with Marvel.
She'll be back. Don't you fear. They're gonna bring back Agatha back. There's no way.
They're bringing away Agatha, or they're bringing back Agatha. She's got her own TV show. I'm talking about like she can't do anything here. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the sequel to this movie because this movie was fantastic. Yeah. Grant, do you have any other thoughts on it? Because I think we've kind of allotted our allotment.
Let's see. There's a quote here, which was another good one. When Miles asks, "When will I know when I'm ready?" You won't. It's the leap of faith. That's all it is, Miles. The leap of faith. I knew right then that Miles was actually going to take a leap of faith. And, like, that's not at all what he meant, but like,
I liked that though. Like it worked. And I liked Miles jumping off of buildings and all that. Like I just really freaking like this movie. It reminds me a lot of the PlayStation game, which I played on PC because that's what real gamers do. It reminds me a lot of that, like that same sort of feel to it. And I'm looking forward. Supposedly, Spider-Man PS4 is going to be in this one, which is cool.
Interesting.
Grant, will you go see the new Spider-Man movie?
I will. I don't know the last time I actually went to theaters to watch a movie, but probably.
Awesome. I think I'm gonna go do the same. I think that's a good bar to set for these that we're doing this month. Just because like if I don't care to go see it, what's the point? And so I definitely think I will go see the new Spider-Man. Do you have anything else to say before we start wrapping up and talking about next week?
I don't really think I do. It's a really good movie. Like, we could talk about the story, but I mean, at this point, I'm probably one of the last people who hadn't seen it. Like, if you've wanted to see it, you pretty much have at this point.
And it's recent
Um,
enough that if you are watching it for the sequel, I don't want to ruin it for you.
mhm.
Like, watch it. Just
Yeah,
watch it.
we've thrown some stuff in there. Like, you can figure out some of the stuff from what we've said, but it's a really good movie. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. Like, it's a really good animated Spider-Man movie, and it was a little bit ahead of like No Way Home. Like, No Way Home was also really good in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
No Way Home got a lot of its influence from this. Like, you could argue
mhm,
that the whole reason we got Maguire and Garfield and that was because this movie did well.
mhm. And you could say just for that reason that this is a good movie.
Yes, especially if we see more Maguire and Garfield. Now, supposedly
Mhm.
there's a Lego universe in this next one, and if there is, I will be so happy as a Lego
A
fanboy.
man has fallen into the river in Lego City.
Hey!
Uh,
Oh. Yeah. I'm excited to see what comes next.
That's what she said.
Spider Ham, friendly neighborhood Spider Ham.
And on the note of music, the weekly Rickroll. Next week we're going to be talking about Bumblebee because Transformers is coming back out. I've never seen a Transformers movie. Also, my webcam looks really weird now.
I'm sorry, we're not just gonna gloss over what you just said there. You
What?
ain't seen a single Transformer movie.
Never seen one. Not one. I've seen Michael Bay movies, of which Armageddon is my favorite. Because you know what? Most movies they have characters talking for exposition and plot. Michael Bay has characters talking so he can interrupt them with explosions.
My mind just went to that one Xbox conversation we had with our friend Ethan about Michael Bay.
What was that?
I
don't
forget the
remember
exact
what-
contents of it, but I think it was just basically trashing on Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay, I'm sure is a good dude, and if he wanted to come on the podcast to defend himself, he's more than welcome. But he just has he makes movies so things can explode, and
Mhm.
for some franchises that works. But if he ever tried to sit down and direct, I don't know, something serious, it wouldn't. Like, it works for Fast and the Furious, but he couldn't do the King's Speech. Of course, the guy who did the King's Speech couldn't do the King's Speech, but that's another story.
You'll be back soon. You'll see.
You're gonna get us copyrighted. So anyway, we will be back next week talking about Bumblebee. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're still here, first off, you're the best. Second off, give us money. If you want to support the show, you can do that by going to patreon.com/culturednerd, where you will find different tiers for different shows. And if you like this one, first off, thank you for being our fan. Second off, thank you for your money. Because if you like this show, you're donating to this show. We have a 100% donation rate among people who like the show, which is why we have 0 donations. Anyway, you can also support the network as a whole, and we really do appreciate that. That helps pay for all the fancy software so I can show my absolutely lovely graphics. And yeah, as always, I've been your host, Grant Ingram.
And I've been your co-host, Grant Skillen. As Grant said a minute ago, thank you each of these people who give us the money. To Jose for the logo and David for the intro. That was bad.
And as always,
Sorry
thank
to that
you.
one person who's here that had to hear that. I'm sorry.
And for all of you who are joining later, thank you so much for joining us. If you're here live, a special thanks to you because we love it when you guys are here live. But yeah, thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe. You want to check out the rest of what the Cultured Nerd has to offer, you can do that scanning that QR code on the left. And if you want to check out the rest of what we have to offer, first off, I don't know why. Second off, you can do that scanning the QR code on the right. Thank you so much for joining, and we will catch you next week when we talk about Bumblebee.